Welcome to The Lost Omens presents The Slithering. This is some might call the first episode. Certainly not like a 0-hour episode or like an episode neutral.
Is that the first episode?
It is the
episode 1.
The first episode that is an integer of this particular miniseries. I am your DM for the day, Tim. Around here at the table, we have a bunch of people, most of your favorites from the Lost Omens podcast.
And Taylor.
Go ahead and introduce yourselves, everyone.
In what capacity?
I don't know, just send it out.
I'm Ben.
I am Dan.
I'm Dani. I'm not in charge.
Not in charge. You only have one thing to focus on.
I'm excited to learn the rules.
It's one of the best things about DM is you don't need to know them.
Exactly. I just rely on you guys. I'm like, well, what do you think that rule means?
I'm Taylor.
And Taylor.
And Taylor.
And Taylor.
And me.
So if you checked out episode 0, you got actually pretty solid introductions to everyone around the table and who they're playing. We have Zardoff, Hannah, Lady Vesh, and Aldurin.
Yeah, you got it.
I mean, we're getting better.
Good job, bud.
Every time. We're gonna start today in kind of the dead center, one of the busiest spots of the city of Kibwe, here in the middle of the Mwangi Expanse. Everyone is palling around. Maybe you know each other, maybe you don't. Maybe you know one person. But either way, you are going through the constantly changing, almost enigmatic central market. There are no permanent structures allowed here. This is a seasonal extravaganza, but on a daily basis. Who might be here, who might be selling things, and what they might be selling changes on an hourly, if not daily basis. It is almost a labyrinth of shifting tents, barriers, and non-permanent walls. It is regularly a sight to behold because you could find anything and everything here. As the four of you happen to be going by, Hannah, Kendi Laughs Long is a wood, I guess, I don't know what you'd call it. Someone that does stuff with wood. They take
I believe it's a woodman.
A woodman, a woodworker.
Woodcarver.
Who you have helped bring things into and out of the city before.
Yes.
And that your family is super familiar with.
Incredible craftsmanship.
Incredible. One of the kind of super important things that they do is they have a regular store of dark wood. They make all sorts of expensive items out of it that are sought by hunters and some of the more earthy people, as well as just fine collectors of art and craft. As the four of you approach, Kendi Laughs Long cries out, "Ah, not one buyer, but many!" The proprietor of the spacious stall in Kibwe's bustling central market yells. His expansive gestures draw attention to his many skillful carvings of rare wood, including dark wood. "Please, all of you, browse my wares and feel free to ask me." Kendi's sentence gets cut short as the flesh melts from her face.
Yeah.
No more face.
What?
As they fall to the ground, their innards, their skin, their flesh, their bones dissolve into a liquid piling mass.
How could we surmise that their innards dissolved into a liquid piling mass?
So
Are their innards their outwards now?
some of them are.
I see.
So as you saw the face, the flesh from their face fall, a bunch of other things came out too. Their eyes melted. I think you would probably assume some of it is brain coming out as well. Either way, it's fully liquefied.
That's absolutely great matter.
I give a very ladylike gasp.
As this newly liquefied Kendi pools on the floor, I need you all to roll me initiative.
What?
Wow. Okay. Here we go.
Starting off right.
Not a great first roll.
Nor for me.
Yo, I don't have to keep track of these numbers.
Is there anyone that got above a 20?
No.
Anyone above a 15?
I have 18.
Okay.
I got a 15.
I'm right below with a 14.
And
I've got an 11.
an 11. There are screams of terror as you saw the amount of body that Kendi had. And you saw the amount of liquid that spilled upon the ground here in the marketplace. The volume of that liquid continues to expand. There is significantly more liquid here than anyone could assume would come out of a single body. A large, some might say huge, pool of thick, black, viscous liquid grows a probe out of its center.
A probe?
Hannah, when you said you had something to show me in the center market, this isn't what you meant, is it?
I assure you this was certainly not it. This is far less appetizing than what I had in mind.
Within seconds, this merchant has become a quivering pile of dark goo in his stall. The goo suddenly ripples, extruding a pseudopod, and slithers towards you. I believe everyone has control of their characters. We are going to go ahead and start at the top with Hannah. How do you react to this?
Start at the top, let it drop. I'm gonna back myself up. I'd like to take an action to step back. I would like to get my short bow out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna fire an arrow at this freaky thing.
Okay.
So let's see. What's my movement? How do I read this sheet? Speed 25. And what's the range on a bow, Dan Cole?
50, I think. 60.
60. All right. So 5. So I'm going to move 3 squares to the north. 2, 3. And then that should put me, I'm still in range of that, right?
For sure.
Cool. And then, like I said, take out my striking short bow. And let's see what happens. Wow. Okay. 19, 22, 32.
A 32.
Wow.
Yeah.
So were this particular enemy to be able to be crit, it would certainly be crit here.
Right.
It does not get crit.
Ah.
As your arrow slices through the amorphous blob of this being, it seems like it does something very significant.
Okay.
In that it almost cleaves the entire thing in two. And it does.
Oh, no.
And there are now 2 of them.
Oh, no.
What? This is not starting off well.
No.
Hannah, Kendi could still be in there, or in one of those.
Here's the thing you have to know, Lady Vesh. Kendi was a trickster and just put extra varnish on light wood. None of that was dark wood.
The good news is there's no more
He
dark
had a good
wood.
hookup.
That stall is sizzling, and it is effectively just melting. There are now 2 of these, and once again, staying the same size. There is a significant amount of black, viscous goo
My word.
all over this. Does anybody have occultism?
I happen to have
I do.
quite a bit of skill.
I'm trained in that.
Everyone is trained. Who has the highest skill?
Mine's at a 14.
Oh,
Whoa.
I would imagine our ladies here.
take her away, Lady Vesh.
I got a gentleman's +8 to that, so.
Wow, there you go. Okay. Lady Vesh, you've certainly heard of these things before, and you certainly heard that these things might split if certain types of damage happen to cleave them in twain. This is a black pudding. Not only are these corrosive to touch, they corrode everything around them. Touching them with any weapon, with hands, with fists, just starts to dissolve anything it comes in contact with. Not only that, you know for a fact that piercing and slashing damage, anything but just smashing it, has no effect at all.
I don't mean to be alarmist, but I think this is a black pudding. Definitely keep your distance, and probably no more arrows. Unless you wanted to do that again, which I'm hoping you don't.
I usually consider more to be better, but in this case, not so much.
If it doesn't bleed, I don't know if arrows are necessarily the right way to go.
That's why we bring our trusty dwarven hammers.
Oh, I didn't see you there. Thank goodness you're here, Aldurin.
Zardoff, you're
I,
up.
of course, have seen you around. You do tend to stick out.
I am quite round. Thank you. It's the good dwarven ale.
Well, this does seem unfortunate. Well, at least ways I don't have any arrows, as the cat lady said not to use. So, first thing I want to do is take a moment to kind of study this prey here, as I'm deciding this is to me, and this one that's still in the stall. I'm going to use my hunt prey ability.
Okay.
Take me in action, and then I'm going to cast a spell on myself. And I'm going to draw my spear.
Consider your spear drawn.
And that's going to be 3 actions for me.
Okay. Mr. Aldurin.
I think my first order of business is to heft up my hammer from its leather strap on my back.
A strap-on.
Strap-on of hammers. A hammer-on, if you will. I will
Solid stone.
bring the might of this hammer down on the one that's still in the stall.
Okay.
Which is incorrect. I'm actually going to do that to the one. Oh, no, I'd have to move. So the one in the stall. And I roll a gentleman's 16 to hit.
That will hit.
Perfect. How's 5 damage sound?
5 damage sounds pretty good.
Bludgeonings,
Oh, even better.
if it will.
So as you bring this hammer down upon this
Large treat.
large treat, it actually seems to have some effect. You've smashed a portion of this jelly goodness just straight into the floor, while the gluttony around it continues to move. You can tell that whatever you did was certainly significantly more effective than splitting it into 2.
Effective for our meanings anyways. I will then raise my shield against anything, I guess, that runs in my way.
Okay. This one that you have smote a little bit is going to reach out a noodly appendage towards you. It is going to
Skedaddle skadoodle.
try to get that noodle.
Ew, Paschetti.
Does a 34 hit?
Unfortunately, it would.
Okay.
How does shield block work?
So if you happen to be unfortunate enough to get hit by an enemy attack, you reduce the damage dealt to you by the shield's hardness before it gets, I believe, split equally between you and the shield.
Mm-hmm.
Take any remaining damage. Interesting.
So you will take 22 damage. Obviously, you drop the hardness from that first, and then you and the shield both take the remaining damage.
Wonderful.
All right. You are now also grabbed. So, the effects of the grab: you are held in place by another creature, giving you the flat-footed and immobilized conditions. If you attempt to manipulate action while grabbed, you must succeed on a DC 20 or a DC 5 flat check, or that action is lost. Roll the check after spending the action, but before any of the effects of the action are applied. It is going to strike again.
On myself, yes.
On yourself.
Correct?
Yes.
Wonderful.
With it's just regular old attack. And there's an 18 hit.
No.
Okay.
Even though you're immobilized,
Correct.
it's a good shield.
That's pretty good. And
I
then
can
it's
see why you
last
hoisted
attack.
about so.
is a 15, which I will assume will not hit you.
That is correct.
The other one, however, is going to move up to Lady Vesh
I'd prefer not.
and send out an old strike. Lady Vesh does a 27 hit.
Gah, yes.
Jeez.
I wish it didn't, though.
It's going to be for 27 damage.
God.
Ow.
Wow.
Consider yourself also now grabbed.
Well, that's something, isn't it?
Rude.
Wow. Does a 14 hit.
No, it does not.
Okay.
Now,
And-
as a champion, do you have a reaction ability?
Yes, I will use Glimpse of Redemption on Lady Vesh.
What does that do?
Sorry to step on your toes.
Thank you. I appreciate. New character. So the foe hesitates under the weight of sin as visions of redemption play in their mind's eye. The foe must choose one of the following options. The ally is completely unharmed by the triggering damage, or the ally gains resistance to all damage against the triggering damage, 2 plus my level. So it would be 7.
Is this a mental effect?
It doesn't say whether it is or not. I would imagine
The keyword tab that has at the top.
champion.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's simply a champion.
Or she can choose, you can choose to gain resistance for her, and then after the damaging effect is applied, the enemy becomes enfeebled too.
Okay. So I can either not do any damage to you or do some damage, give you resistant to that damage, and then I become enfeebled?
Correct.
So I
Glad
will...
you were here.
Yeah. So we will have that attack not do damage.
Does that mean that I'm not grabbed?
That...
I believe it just stops the damage.
It's a good question.
Ally
I would
is-
assume that, yeah, it just stops the damage. But let's double check if I have to do damage to have the grab. Boom, boom. I don't believe so. It was a successful attack, even though it didn't do damage. So you are, in fact, grab, I believe. But you didn't take any damage, and it moved and attacked twice. So its turn is over. And you, Lady Vesh, are now up.
I am?
Mhm.
Oh, right, because she went first.
Run away.
Well, I happen to be grabbed at the moment. I don't think that I'm actually have much I can do against that. Can I?
Yes.
I'm gonna look.
So you can
up for-
attempt to escape from being grabbed. Typically, an athletics DC of the creature grabbing you, the thievery DC of a creature who tied you up, or the spell DC. So yeah, you can make an escape check against its athletics.
An escape would just be what, a basic attack? I have absolutely no ways to get out of grab.
Attempt a check using your unarmed attack modifier against the creature grabbing you. Yes.
Yes.
Alternatively, maybe I can make it back off. Can I still cast spells while I'm being grabbed?
You can. You do make a flat DC 5 roll to see if that action happens or not.
In that case, I'm going to go for it.
Okay.
So first, I will start to conjure a physical wave that I can push this foe away with, and I'm going to try to cast Hydraulic Push.
Ooh.
So let me first attempt my flat check, which is a 2. So I lose
Oh.
Nuts.
under very unfortunate. I have one action left, so I'm going to cast a Hex, which is called Clinging Ice. So again, I will attempt a flat check. This time was a 6, so a
Okay.
bit better. Freezing sleet and heavy snowfall collect around the target's feet and legs, or in this case, their lower hemisphere. Dealing 1d4 cold damage, well, actually 3d4 cold damage because it's heightened as a cantrip. And it makes a reflex saving throw.
Okay. It rolled an 18 for its reflex.
So that means it's against my spell DC, I believe.
Yep.
Which is a 21, so it fails.
Mm-hmm.
So it takes the full damage and has a 5-foot circumstance penalty
To movement?
to movement.
Okay.
Until the spell ends, which I think I would have to keep a duration on it, which I'm not willing to do, so it won't last for very long. But it does do damage. 11 cold damage.
Okay. Great. Yeah, it's super not cool with that.
I should
No,
say
it
it's
is
very
cool.
cool with it.
As that
One moment. I'm sorry. My familiar is also here, and he's an independent little so-and-so, so he's going to hiss most angrily
Okay.
to try to
So
demoralize this, what have
Okay.
you. Which I'm not sure if that actually is going to be able to work, but he's going to try and intimidate anyway. And he gets a 21.
It seems like what affected it the most is the cold. It could be scared. It is difficult to discern without really any features that would show scaredness. But it certainly shrinks away very physically and very viscerally away from the cold and the crystalline ice that is spawning and forming around its, just kind of its nest. And we will move to Hannah.
Okay. I have
Should probably shoot it again with feeling.
not doing that at
A
all.
little help.
I have nothing that is not a blade.
Oof.
Yeah. Two short swords. I have a necklace of knives. I have all of the blades in the world. Tell me about the structure of this merchant tent. Can that be used at all to our advantage?
You think it could. It is certainly not a permanent structure. It is mostly just tent poles and some hides and almost canvases, it seems like. There's not a whole ton there of legitimate weight. It is also slowly sizzling, fizzling, and melting itself into and around that black pudding that was directly under it to begin with.
All right. I am going to use, I have in my possession the hand of the mage. It's not a big deal. It's something I got it for, my birthday one year, whatever. But it allows me to cast Mage Hand.
Okay.
So I would like to attempt. Dan was literally like, "Do you want to take this and cast Mage Hand on Tim's game?" And I was like, yes, I do. I very much do.
Are you trying to get an egg off of a pole?
The old egg pole.
Because I would.
Bell off of a reindeer's antler.
Oh, trust me, no. If you would know if I was trying to get an egg off a pole. But I do want to cast Mage Hand to see if I can pull one of these supports and maybe use the structure to do some damage to this thing.
Sure.
I'm not going to cut it in half. All right. How do I do that?
You know what? Roll me a what type of
Would it be thievery to deconstruct a...
Yeah, let's go with thievery.
All right. Let's see what I can do. Woo. I'm going to use a hero point.
You know what? You have an extra for being
was
quick
gonna
on the
say,
draw
'cause
during episode 0, so send it out.
Because that was a 1. Oh, Jesus. Boop. That's better. So I got a 25.
Okay.
Nice.
So the very top of this tent is pretty near gone. The things that were holding these tent poles together, for the most part, there's no longer anything holding any structure to these tent poles. They're just kind of sticking up. As your mage hand just slaps one of these tent poles down, falls into the center of this this black pudding.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen like say a meringue pie and just like dropped a pencil or your finger kind of in it? It makes a depression.
Yeah.
It continues to sink into the black pudding, but it's almost as if there was like a cyst at the top of it, which was removed. There's almost like a divot there now.
Okay.
If you want to see what that looks like, you can get the Patreon video.
whether it's the tent, just the force of the tent pole no longer, it has weight to it and it is pushing it down. Did it hurt it? You have no idea.
Right.
Is it literally just pulling part of it down into it as it dissolves into the black pudding?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Could be.
But something happened.
All right. That was something. All right. So what would you count that as? 1 action, 2 action?
So that particular item should have an interact listing. I'm sure it's probably 2 because you're casting a spell, but
Yes.
so yeah, I'll count that as 2 actions.
All right. And then I'm going to move.
Good call.
I am going to move 4 squares to the west. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make it 5 for good measure. Sorry, guys.
So you're skedaddling directly away from that black pudding.
Yeah, I don't want to get caught up in that thing.
Honestly, probably a great call.
I've got a very pretty face. This can't get corroded.
Yeah.
I mean, if it does, I can just switch to a different one because I can do that. But I like this one.
Being an up-and-coming socialite in this
Right.
particular area, you are certainly not unaware that it is a regular thing for just people to throw acid in the face of pretty girls.
Right.
So
Yeah.
this kind of seems like the amalgamation of that
God damn it, Fulgrim.
whole deal.
Again.
Zardoff.
So I had +8 to occultism.
Mhm.
Would Zardoff know? What would Zardoff know about these things?
You know very much from being in the jungle and kind of being a trophy hunter and seeing literally an arrow split one of these things in twain and have that not be for any effect that is positive to you or any of the people around you in any way, shape, or form, that you have probably encountered an ooze before and you are, I would say, somewhat familiar with the fact that splitting them in two is very not good. With the weapons that you have, you probably don't assume that they will be well suited against this, but a spear's got a handle.
Do I know if it will keep splitting if hit, or is it split once and that's it?
You don't know.
All right. So you'd allow me to reverse the grip on this spear and whack it instead of poking it?
Absolutely. What is a spear if not a quarterstaff with a little pointy bit?
Backs.
All right. We'll do that. We'll just toss it up in the air, flip it around, catch it, and just whack.
Are you going to whack the one to the south or to the north?
To the south, because that's the one I can reach.
Fair.
We'll get a 22.
That will do.
Normally my spear is 2d6 damage because it's a magical striking spear.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say it would be for whacking it with it instead of stabbing it?
That's a good question. Highs or lows?
We'll do high.
So yeah, unfortunately that rune is really kind of etched in the piercing bit at the tip. Grafted onto the metal itself. I'm assuming that the shaft is wooden.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the shaft is going to be not magical.
So just a single d6?
So a single, we'll call it a D8. Quarterstaffs are D8? Or are they D6s in this?
I believe they're d6.
Okay, so yeah. Well, just one D6.
Not positive. All right. Well, good thing I had done cast a gravity weapon last turn. I'll be able to double my damage dice here on the first attack.
Gravity weapon gives you a +2 to the damage for each die rolled.
Oh, that seemed way better than
How you explained it is how it worked in first edition.
You gain a status bonus to damage equal to twice the number of weapon damage dice. I see. So it'd only be +1.
Double. So you're rolling one dice would be +2.
Alrighty. We'll do a max damage of 10.
Hey!
No, I'm sorry, 12.
Not,
And add my +2 from gravity weapon.
that's pretty good.
Agreed.
So I am going to have you switching where you're holding this weapon count as an action, kind of as an interact to switch the grip.
Fair.
And then one action to attack. But it connected. And similar to when you saw Aldurin strike it and part of it kind of not recess into the ground or get smashed into it, and it's not really shrinking either. It's super difficult to tell. It's almost like it got shorter somehow from you hitting one of these proboscises kind of sticking out of its bottom.
Is it potentially deflating?
I think deflating is probably a good description for what just happened.
All right, well, let's deflate it some more. I'll do that again.
Mm-hmm.
Usually pretty good at hitting things multiple times, but not usually, swinging this way. Because I do believe I lost the ability here. Where'd it go? Oh, my flurry ability here is only if I got an agile weapon. Oh, no, it is less. So it's only -2 instead of -3 instead of -5. Nice. So we're going to get a 17. Sorry about that delay.
17 will do.
All right. So we'll do another D6 here. We'll do 7 damage.
Did you count your gravity weapon in that?
I did not.
I believe it.
I believe it's only for the first attack in a round,
it is.
but I will double check. So I already was wrong once about that. On your first weapon strike each round.
Gotcha. All right, so 7 damage. Still a solid chunk. It doesn't seem as if it had done as much as your first attack, but you are certainly making headway on this thing. It is moving a little bit slower if it was moving with any speed initially.
I think we got this well in hand, dwarf.
I think we also.
Oh, God.
Please close your mouth.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you don't want to get in there.
It's
Seems
already
like a
burnt
bad
enough
idea.
in there.
Aldurin, you are up.
I will do the tried and trusted dwarf reasoning of hitting it with a hammer. So a DC flat check of 5, correct?
Yes.
I got a 15,
There you go.
and then I got a 25 to hit it.
A 25 would be a crit, but it's not.
And 9 damage.
Okay.
I will then attempt to not be grappled by this anymore. You said that was athletics, correct?
Yes.
How about a 24? To be ungrappled.
24. Yeah, that'll do. You are no longer grabbed by the schoolie.
I will then
Not a fine, dwarf.
I'm pretty slippery when I need to be.
I'm not.
I will then attempt to. Can I aid her to get out of grapple?
You would have to be.
Oh.
Yes, you are. Yep,
Yeah.
you are adjacent. So yes, you would be able to aid here.
So aid is just
You would make the same check that she would be making, which
Okay.
would be your athletics or acrobatics. If you roll a 20 or higher, you would give her +1 on her check on her turn.
I would love to do that
Okay.
as my last action, I guess, right? Because aid's an action, right?
Mhm.
Wonderful. I've grabbed you by the foot. What I think is your foot, and I'm gonna start pulling.
You'd better hope it's not her tail.
And then you roll another.
Oh, I roll it now.
Yep.
Wonderful. I'm gonna use that one free hero point that I got.
Okay.
I got a 6, which is a 16.
So in the chaos, I mean, there's mage hands, there's tent poles falling. Like there's a lot happening here.
There's a lot sizzling on me. So.
As you try to grab Lady Vesh's leg to just kind of pull her out of there a little bit, maybe it's you've never touched a hairless cat before. And it's not that there's a ton of skin there. There's just a lot more than you were expecting.
It's a lot more fleshy than I thought it was going to be.
And
I'm not one of those wrinkly ones. You understand?
I didn't.
I've also never touched a shaven face. Been around a lot of bearded folk.
I do still have whiskers, as it's necessary to
I'm just
make my way around.
thinking that this might be what a shaved face feels like.
It's a strange way to think about it.
And I don't like it. No offense, madam. But you seem to still be covered in ooze, and I'm trying to help. If you could hold
Thankfully,
still.
this monologue is internal, and I don't have to respond in kind.
Hope you don't got a problem with people with no hair.
It's the flesh with no hair on it. That's an issue. So I turn around and start a monologue to our android friend.
Hannah, make me a perception check.
You got it. 19.
People are vacating this area very quickly, almost as if, there's a whole bunch of really bad things going on.
Yeah.
I'd like you to make me a reflex save. Add a +2.
26.
There are a lot of people that were at this Darkwood tent that are vertically deficient.
Okay.
Also deficient in having exceptional age. Terrified. Screaming all over the place.
Okay.
As you were attempting to leave, you stepped very gracefully over several children crying in place.
Okay.
Take that information as you will.
All right.
It is now the Black Pudding's turn. We will start with the one that has been slapped with a mage hand tent pole in the south. It is going to make an attack at our dwarven friend as he really wanted to grab you. And he did. He felt successful in his grabbing of you. And then you rebuked his touch. 25.
That just hits.
Okay. For 22 damage.
Oh, these things, they seem like they hit pretty hard.
This is not pleasant, my friend. This is not pleasant.
You are grabbed by this black pudding again. And a large portion of this damage that has befallen upon you is not just the wet thunking slap of a pseudopod touch. It's also burning. What is your armor and what is it made out of?
My armor is half plate.
Okay. Parts of your armor are decaying away. Some of the leather straps holding the plates together that are on the inside
I need those.
are starting to dissolve a little bit. Your armor also takes half of that damage.
I don't know how to do that. I'll look it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is going to do that again, but this time with feeling.
I do love the wet slap of a pseudopod,
No, I don't.
33.
That one will also hit.
Okay.
Is it above 10 that's a crit?
Yes.
That also crits.
Crit it. Fuck. Holy Jesus.
That'll be 44 damage.
Oh, is that all?
Literally 4 over what I could have taken.
Okay.
So I dropped to 0.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have your shield up, did you?
No, I was trying to help you.
Okay.
Well, that ain't good.
This large amorphous gentleman brings down another separate pseudopod onto our dwarven friend here. And the good news is it no longer seems like Aldurin is struggling.
Seems very at peace almost.
Yeah. I think
Sorry.
that's a great way to put it.
Oh, God.
And we will move to our other special pudding friend.
Oh, that's okay. You don't have to.
He is going to use Constrict. The monster deals the listed amount of damage to any number of creatures grabbed or restrained by it. Each of those creatures can attempt a basic fortitude save with the listed DC.
That's not great.
The DC is 28.
I'm going to need either a 19 or a 20, I think. So
It's possible.
here's a fortitude save. No.
Okay. So you will take the damage that is being done.
I suppose I will.
That is going to be 18.
Remember when we were like, our group's never going to get through a one shot, like in actually one shot? Remember that? And then remember that
One
time
episode.
there was a TPK?
Oh, I'm running away.
Is that
I'll
one
be fine.
episode?
So,
I didn't put me next to them. That was not my decision.
Mm.
accurate. You weren't next to it when there was one.
Right. Whoever split these in two is real dumb.
Strange decision. An odd tactical choice.
Yeah.
That said, as the chaos continues to assume, there are shouts from what seems like people calling either watch or guards. They are certainly not here yet, but the clanging and heavy metal boots of the police force of Kimbwe, you certainly hear coming. Yes.
BT. Is that a breaking threshold?
Yes.
Okay, so you hit me with 22, and that applied to the armor?
Half.
Yes, half of it.
Oh, okay. All right. So I was like, BT, that armor is 18, so it's gone. But if it's half, then we're good. Okay.
It also has its own hardness.
Oh, I see that. Okay, cool. So it only takes 2. Got it. All right. Sorry.
Yeah. So it is going to constrict again. You can make that fortitude save.
I don't think I can, actually. Very close. But I only have a 25.
18.
Okay. I'm conscious.
Okay.
Oh.
Is it done constricting?
It has finished constricting for now. Yes.
That's great to hear.
And then I'm going to go ahead and say that Lady Vesh, it's your turn.
Well, things can't get much more dire, so
Right off the bat.
I'm going to screech a word of power and cast Elemental Betrayal, which means that when this creature gets hit with any cold or water damage, it takes an additional 3.
Okay.
And that's just verbal, and it's only one action, so it just happens.
Great.
I don't have to...
There's no save or anything. It's just
There is not.
beautiful.
And I'm all out of hexes for that guy, but I will be able to cast a cantrip, Ray of Frost.
Okay.
And I'll try to get my hands together in classic Kamehameha wave fashion and project some coldness onto this pudding.
So before you roll to target it, do make that DC 5 flat check.
I did make that.
Okay.
So,
Oh, thank goodness.
so now this is a spell attack roll, which is legally distinct from a spell DC. Get a plus 11 on this. So that's a 22 to hit.
Okay. It hits.
Excellent. All right. So that is the spell deals cold damage equal to 3d4 plus my spell casting ability modifier, which is 4. So 3d4 plus 4. Roll 2 ones.
It's on the north.
So it takes 9 damage plus the 3 from the elemental betrayal. So,
Okay.
So a total of 12 plus whatever other things cold might hopefully be doing.
You were the one that rolled the occultism
I did.
before. As far as you're aware, you don't believe that these have any particular elemental weaknesses outside of the additional weakness which you have applied.
I see. Well, hopefully somebody else can deal with it, because I don't think I can last another one of those. Oh, and my kitty cat will probably continue to hiss.
Okay.
And you tried to freeze the northern pudding there?
I did. The one who is grabbing me currently.
Makes sense.
From where your Ray of Frost hit it, it is once again recoiling from that as ice continues to build up, both around the initial point where your hex hit it before and where the Ray of Frost also struck it. Hannah.
All right. So looking around, I heard children. I'm going to now look around. Where are the children?
One is directly behind you.
Okay.
As you had stepped over it from succeeding on that reflex save.
Yes.
There are a couple more kind of sparsely around you.
Okay.
Is there something specific you're looking for?
So I'm just wondering, like, are these the only 2 oozes that are in this
Yes.
area? Okay.
You do not see any other oozes.
Okay. I would like to try to collect these children and keep them like at a safe distance from this ooze. If there's like a stall that they could hide behind or something like that. But I do want to collect them. I think that they are probably are they human children?
Some of them are. The majority of them, yep.
Okay. I am going to use one of my ancestry feats. I'm going to shift faces and look like a kind older woman.
Okay.
Like semi-grandma like.
I gotcha.
Right. And I'll, try to usher them. Come on, you children. There's nothing to fear. Just hide over here and it will all be fine. The watch is on their way.
Make me a diplomacy.
All right.
I believe it's pronounced diplomacy.
You sound like your father.
Oh, yeah.
That's a 19.
Okay.
For diplomacy.
So the small human child, which you stepped over so abashedly before, looks up from just dirt and tear-sopped face, and it's just like, oh okay, and starts to get up and hold your hand.
Okay.
There was another one towards the corner of that building that is, upon seeing you try to get people out of there, has snapped out of whatever fear he is in and is just taken off.
Okay.
So people are starting to lose that shock a little bit and are moving away because there are people being consumed by these things.
Dang. Yeah, I mean, that is true.
Oof.
Oof, indeed.
Any other actions you would like to take?
No.
Okay.
Just get this kid to safety. That was actually when I was making the character and the questions, like, don't mess with kids.
Okay.
That's a line for
Kids
Hana.
are all right.
The kids are all right.
I know you've been hoping to get your own litter, but I could really use some help.
Mr. Zardoff.
All right. So first off, does this pudding still have its tentacles, whatever it might be, around my dwarf pal here?
Yes, it does.
Alrighty. So I want to make an athletics check to try to just rip him out of there and get him behind me.
Okay. Roll it.
I'm gonna get a 19.
Okay, that'll do.
Not a fantastic roll. Can I move him to the space behind me? Get it away?
So the space directly behind you is currently occupied by a different grabbed person, a Lady Vesh. You would be able to move it. Nope, never mind. Yes, behind you?
Yeah.
You're not the dwarf, correct?
Correct.
Just to confirm?
I'm the one with the pith helmet.
There we go. Yes, you can.
The pith head.
Yeah.
Love me a good pith helmet,
All right. Now that I got him out of the way of some trouble, I'm going to try to wail on this thing.
Mm-hmm.
One more
Any
time.
chance you could get me out as well?
I'm trying.
I don't feel like you are.
Doing what I can. I'm going to go ahead and... We got 18.
That'll
to
do.
hit. Yeah. Whew. A little worried there for a minute. Still not rolling too many dice. We got 11. Yeah, 11 damage.
11 damage.
Smash.
Oh.
Bludgeon it. And we'll try that once more as long as it doesn't, if it's still moving.
It is still moving.
That's unfortunate. That's the same exact roll, so this time we get a 15.
Heavy metal. When your second strike comes down on this.
Wait, so 15 hits?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I thought that was 15 damage. Sorry.
No.
Yeah, so 15 hits.
I wish I could do 15 right now, but not when I can't stab it. Drop my die on the floor. How is about 6 more damage?
A 6, it's not quite as much as the 15.
Didn't land on the floor.
But listen, you're chunking away at this thing. There are splatters of burnt sand, grass, and rock kind of all over this. This thing is actually, it seems like it's getting significantly smaller, shorter. It is no longer as tall as it was.
Cat lady, help me get this one finished off, then we can work on that other one there.
Yes, I'll be right over.
Lady Vesh. Make me a perception check.
22.
From
And it's Vesh, dear.
what'd I say?
Not
That?
the right thing.
Okay. From the north, you see a chubby little half-orc child. Once again, tears streaming down its face, screaming at this black pudding that is holding you. Yelling unintelligible things. You don't know what it's saying, but it is insanely upset. And it throws what appears to be either a rock or a very wet lump of bread. Either way, it's somewhat shiny and looks solid. This item hits this black pudding, is subsumed into it, and nothing of any real effect happens. But you can tell that this half-orc child is incredibly upset at the existence of this black pudding and wants it to be not there anymore.
Bless you, child. You and me both.
It is looking around for other things to throw, and it is now our unconscious dwarf's turn. I don't know what happens at this point when you are unconscious on your turn. Do you make saves or something?
You do.
Yeah.
You have to make a
When you become unconscious, if you were hit by, excuse me, if you were hit by a critical effect, you become dying 2.
Okay.
Once you reach dying 4, you're dead.
Gotcha.
You roll a DC flat check. DC is 12. It's 10 plus your dying condition.
Okay.
Because I am a diehard, once I reach dying 5, I die.
Instead of 4.
Instead of 4. I am now at dying 3.
Oh,
Jesus.
no.
Okay.
I do believe you can also use all of your hero points in order to cease dying and become stabilized.
I will use my last hero point to cease dying and stay alive. You know what?
No, let it ride.
That would be
Let it ride.
That would be me unconscious on the floor. Is that correct?
Yes.
So I will wait until my next roll to see if that. I don't want to waste it unless I have to.
Okay.
I don't think it's wasting it if you're keeping yourself from dying.
I'm in no danger at the moment.
You're welcome.
If I was still in the clutches, maybe, but we'll go from there.
The noise of those booted feet and chains and schlunks are getting closer. The general marketplace is seeming to vacate significantly quicker than it had in the previous round. This southern black pudding is going to turn its noodly appendage at our android friend.
All right, I'm going to try to flip myself out of the way.
Okay.
It's going to give me a +2 to my armor class.
Okay.
Oh, is that the Farabellus maneuver?
I don't know what that means. I'm just going to try to dodge.
Skedaddle, skedoodle.
Yeah, I am skedaddling, that's for sure.
Get ready for this noodle. 30.
Yup. That's still going to hit me.
For 20 damage.
That's going to hurt.
Your armor also takes half of that damage.
What armor am I wearing? Oh, that's my hide, of course.
Imagine someone not knowing what they put on in the morning.
I done forgot.
I can't tell if he does wear armor or if his fake skin is armor.
How
Can't
much
tell.
damage did you say? 20?
Yes.
I definitely took off 28 on accident. That was foolish.
You are also now grabbed,
I don't like this.
and it will constrict you, so you can now make a fortitude save.
Look, I'm pretty good at that. Oh, no. When I roll a 1, I got a 12.
You rolled a 1. Okay, so you do take the damage. 14. Half of that being put on your armor as well.
14. So my armor's taking 17. I'm sure that's past its broken.
It has a hardiness of 4.
Oh, yep. That's definitely...
A hardiness, so you reduce each by 4. Each point, so it would be 6, and then what was 14, so 7. So it's taken 9. It has a total HP of 16.
Well, I thank you.
You're very welcome. It's now back to 5. It's down to 5, excuse me.
All right. Well, that was unfortunate. I was hoping to get out of the way of that, but whew.
The northern black pudding turns what you would assume would be some form of attention towards this fat little half-orc kid. It moves slowly towards it.
Am I coming with it?
You are coming with it.
Well, you know.
Another proboscis comes out and slaps this child and scoops it up, and it is now holding it as well.
Oh, hell no.
Lady Vesh, please make me a fortitude save.
No.
Okay.
I won't do it.
That'll be 25 damage.
Is that more than 2?
It is. It is more than 2.
Okay, I'm unconscious as well.
Okay. That is going to be the end of its turn. Lady Vesh, you are up.
Time to make a dying check, it seems. And I'm still constricted. I do not stabilize, so dying 2 now.
Dying 2.
Here's hoping it doesn't decide to try to constrict me again.
Hannah, you are up.
All right. It's got the kid. Let's go. I'm coming. I'm not a hero. Is there a trap? Can I deceive it? This is not my wheelhouse. I'm sorry.
I tried.
I know.
I saw.
Okay. I don't know why I'm looking at Dan's screen when I have it literally right here. All right. Son of a bitch.
Y'all, I'm terrified.
I don't want to get close to it. Fuck, but everybody who can do damage is inside or unconscious. God damn it. Okay.
This is a tough enemy right out the gate.
We haven't tried turning it off and on again.
Right.
Oh, that's true.
I actually think that was the first thing that we tried, and it didn't go so well.
I used the hammer, you're right.
All right, I'm going to do 2 move actions to get up to the black pudding.
Okay.
That is currently holding Lady Vesh and the little orc kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then, what is it, athletics to try and pull them out?
Yes.
Would thievery make sense as an alternative way to?
Can I try to steal them from inside the black pudding?
What type of skill would you like to use?
I mean, ideally, thievery would be great. Can I mug this thing? I have mug as a feat.
You don't want to do that.
It was a joke. Because I'm going to try to take something out of it, like a wallet or a cat folk. Yeah.
So, as an
the wallets of civilization, yes.
Right, yeah.
As an acquisitions and anti-acquisitions expert,
Anti-acquisitions.
I am an experienced smuggler.
right?
Yeah.
You do know that, assuming that this thing's attention is on this child that
Right.
it is now trying to consume,
Yeah.
that it must be distracted.
Right.
So
Scary.
now's the time to yoink something out of its
Yeah.
possession, if now is a time to yoink it all.
I'm going to yoink.
So you can go ahead and make a thievery check
All right.
to try to get Lady Vesh out
Come
of
on,
here.
Lady Vesh, let's go. I got you. I got your friend. 18.
Yeah, you, it's almost too slick. Like, Lady Vesh is very lubricated in this thing.
Oh, God.
And as you grab her ankle, it comes out too quickly.
Right.
And just whoop. And Lady Vesh is now
Almost
behind
as
you.
though I didn't feel it at all.
Almost as if you didn't feel it at all.
Yep.
Is now behind you on the floor. You couldn't keep your hands on her.
Right. Okay.
But she's out.
Okay.
Am I just sliding around like a hockey puck at this point?
So most of the lubrication stayed with it.
Oh, okay.
Almost
Small miracles.
Yes. Yep. Some might say.
There's a distinct smell of burnt hair, though.
Not from either.
There's not. Actually.
No.
Zardoff.
Oh, all right. Well, first thing we got to do is get ourselves out of this. Is it sticky? Can I say sticky situation with these things?
It doesn't
seems
seem
like
very
it's pretty-
sticky.
How about a slimy situation?
It
Have
is-
you ever seen Beer Fest?
I have not. I don't know what that means.
You could call it a
Many
slicky
times.
situation.
Somebody gets that reference.
Many times.
I do. Zardoff doesn't get it.
He'd be the only person I would expect to get that right.
Yeah, we're going to try to break out of this sticky situation here.
Okay.
With the athletics,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
We're going to get a 15.
No, it doesn't do it.
Am I able to attack it while it's got me grabbed?
You
I
absolutely
just got to
can.
do that flat check, right?
Mhm.
Is it 5?
Yep.
We're going to use that hero point because I rolled a 1. There we go. So we're going to be able to attack it now. And we're going to get a 16
To hit.
to hit.
That will hit.
All right. We'll do that maximum 12 damage again.
Great. Okay. The movements of this particular pudding are still happening.
What? Good. Well, I believe I got one action left here.
Mhm.
I could try to break out again, correct?
Yeah.
Or I could just try to. Does it seem?
It is as much as a huge black pudding could lumber. It seems as if it couldn't lumber any slower if it was still also able to move.
All right. You know what? I'm going to say I already got my hand, and I'm going to try one more time with this, the end of my spear.
Okay.
So we'll do the flat check. Oh, we get a 19.
That'll do.
And then we'll try, really, really hope for a good old natural 20 here, which we don't get. We're going to get a 17 to hit, though.
That'll do.
And then we're going to inflict. Unfortunately, we're going to do minimum 5 damage.
Sometimes the minimum is all you need to do. As you are not gently put on the ground because you are no longer grabbed by this thing, as it subsumes into the market floor itself. There is a massive, not gargantuan, not large, not small, not medium, not tiny, not diminutive, but a huge flat puddle of black oozing, sizzling gunk
Whew.
on the floor as you are let down.
Well, I don't feel let down at all. I feel pretty invigorated, actually. So I gotta say my thanks to Rory there, and I believe that is all my actions for this round.
Okay, Taylor. Or Aldurin.
If you write it down ahead of time, it's easier to remember.
I did, but then I added other letters that I didn't write down the first time, and I can't read my own writing. Let's see if you're still alive or not.
We'll try the 13 flat check here.
Okay.
I rolled the exact same thing that I did before.
Oh, no.
Here's the bad news. I rolled more than 10 under, which is a critical failure. So I go from 3 to 5.
I think when you would normally die is when you can use the hero point.
I don't know if that's true, but I really hope that it is.
Believe
That's-
that it is.
That's why you saved it, right?
So I'm going to use that hero point and no longer be dead and be unconscious instead.
If there's a thing to use a hero point for,
I'm glad that I spoke up before anyone else while we were talking about characters.
Yeah.
yeah. Yep. Fate really was on your side there. Okay. We go to the black pudding. To the north, holding this small child. It pulls that child into itself. The muffled screams of it don't last particularly long once it is engulfed inside of this black pudding. There are 2 guardsmen that have now approached from the northern side that are just hucking rocks at it. These guards, oddly enough, don't seem super shocked about what's happening, but are certainly not super equipped to be able to deal with it. handfuls of almost like birdshot, it seems like just handfuls of pellets and gravel are just pelting this thing. It is not super pleased with that, but it is certainly not slinking away as it did, say, against Lady Vesh's ice attacks. But it's doing something. And we go back up to Hannah. Yes.
I looked this up. I actually regain 1 hit point and am no longer unconscious.
That's a lot better than what we
Even
thought.
better,
Yeah. Let's go.
Welcome back to the land we live in there, Aldurin.
That hurt a lot. I'm going to have to talk to Pharasma about that one later.
Would you get your full turn?
I don't know.
I don't believe so.
Okay. All right. Hannah.
All right.
Don't I have to see if I keep dying?
Yeah, I'll allow it.
I don't.
Hey!
I stabilize.
Look at you.
It's all coming up Millhouse.
It's all coming up Millhouse.
Whom?
Does Lady Vesh have any kind of like staff or anything like that?
I'm wearing one on my back, yes.
I hate to interrupt this.
Go
You
for
were
it.
at dying 2.
I believe so.
You're now at dying 1. When you
No.
get a success, you decrease your value by 1.
I'd rather not.
I am really sorry to be that. Sorry to be the JB of the group here, but
I seem to not be doing as badly as I would.
Yeah. Positive gains.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have a staff on me, yes.
Okay, I am going to take the staff from Lady Vesh's back.
Sure.
And I'm going to wail on this black pudding because I want to get this little orc kid out of here.
Yeah, do it.
It does have regular stats for a staff.
Wonderful.
Regular staff stats.
Staff stats. Stat. We got staff stats. What do I do?
So you're going to add just your proficiency, which would be...
If you're trained in simple weapons, then your proficiency, I believe, is going to be +7, and then whatever your strength is.
So +7.
Okay. Whee! 17.
That'll do.
Cool. And then what do I roll for a
That's
staff?
a D8.
D8. Booyah. That's 3.
Hey. You hit it.
Sweet.
Damage
did-
happened.
I did some damage, and it stayed as 1.
And it stayed as
It
1.
didn't split into 2 this time.
So, yeah, as far as attacks that you have made upon black puddings in this particular combat, easily your most effective.
yeah. Hands down.
You still have another action as well.
Let's do it again. I should run away, but I should run away. No, because then it'll just get Lady Vesh again. So.
Actually, I'm sorry. Make me a reflex save.
Okay. 29.
Okay.
All right, I'll hit it again. 23
That'll do.
minus 5, so 18. For another 3.
Okay. There's a lot of things going on. In general, it's hard to tell exactly what an ooze is thinking, doing, looking at, if it even looks.
Right,
But-
does it just like suck up 2 rocks and like hold them like eyes?
I mean, it could.
That could
this-
then also be its boobs.
It
at this
has-
point, it's a orc child's skull. But
It has heavy. Actually, yeah. Make me a perception check.
All right. Boop. 14.
Yeah, you certainly don't hear any screams anymore. You don't know if that kid's dead, but it could be.
Oh, I hope it won't do.
But it is pulling itself in multiple directions. It's getting accosted from multiple fronts, and the heavily iced side that you are on certainly seems to be the least mobile, in that the proboscis eye, the noodly appendages, the whatever you want to call them, are certainly now focused on these gentlemen that are just hucking a bunch of rocks.
Good.
Rock hookers.
The old rock hookers. Zardoff.
I was hoping you were going to say that. So I'm going to stride over to this thing. Not in any particular hurry, 'cause they're not real quick on their own feet. So I'm going to walk over to it right up next to this a red furred lady here.
No, I look like a grandma now.
Oh, that's right, this grandma. I'm going to say, These things remind me of that Annis hag over at Aldurin we took care of a while back. And then I'm going to try to hit it with my spear. And we're going to get a 19.
That will hit.
And we'll do 10 damage to it.
Okay.
And if it's still moving, I'll hit it again.
It is, but I mean, how much really does a black pudding move when it hasn't moved in a while?
I don't know. I'm just gonna keep going until I'm pretty sure it's done. So we'll get I believe that's a 14. No. 17.
Okay. Yes, that hits.
My math was way off of there, and we'll do another 6 damage to it.
Another 6 damage.
And I'll say, you just let go of that kid in there, whatever is going on.
It does not comply.
It's unfortunate.
Why does it seem that this one is so much hardier than the other one?
If you had to take a guess, because you rolled so well on your recall knowledge check to see what this was and what it was doing.
Oh, I'm unconscious. That was rhetorical.
So in your dream state of unconsciousness,
Yes.
it seems like oozes in general that have had a dwarf wailing on it tend to go down quicker than oozes that do not have dwarves wailing on it. if it's relative.
I was going to say, I feel like the dwarf hit it pretty hard before I got a chance.
Aldurin. If you want to go, like, that's up to you. Like, you can kind of do whatever you want.
I think I'll stretch the arms out and feel if there's any plates coming off of my armor, which there probably is.
You are certainly more key jangly than you've ever been before.
That's fine. I've had worse. And I'll walk up 2 squares and 1 to the east. I'll do a little lay on hands for our cat friend to stabilize her. I believe that you immediately gain, let's see here, 6 hit points. And you gain +2 status to AC for a whole round. So you are now conscious with 6 hit points. Why don't you back up a little bit? I'll take it from here. And I whip around to the ooze I whip around to the ooze and I say, I know you can't understand me, you bastard, but I've been dead once and that doesn't frighten me. And I'll hit it for a good,
I've always liked him.
some would say 25.
Yeah, 25 will succeed in meeting his AC or higher.
For 6.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, glad to have you back by my side there.
It hurts to be here, but I'm back.
Not that you saw it because you were unconscious at the time, but we had previously thought that the other black pudding could not have lumbered slower if it were capable of lumbering slower at all. This one is lumbering even slower than that other one twas. But it is still up and active.
I believe lay on hands is an action, which it is, so I'm all done.
Okay. The black pudding lashes a jello jiggler at Hannah. There's a 36 hit, Hannah.
Oh my God,
Yes.
what?
A 36 will hit me.
You're not allowed to roll on this anymore. Oh, Jesus Christ.
You take 33 points of damage.
I feel like our ACs are way too low.
Right?
I might be doing something incredibly wrong.
22.
33, so 25. Okay.
Half of that is dealt to your armor,
Okay.
and you are grabbed.
All right. I knew it was going to happen.
It throws another moo tube at you. Does a 21 strike?
No.
It does not.
Nope.
I would like you to make a fortitude save.
Okay. I got a 20.
20.
Yes.
Okay. As it constricts you, you take 24 points of damage.
Okay. I'm down to 1.
And some might say, Hannah, that it is now your turn.
Okay. I'm gonna try to get out.
Don't I go after it generally?
You do.
Yeah.
Some, like I said,
Who skipped
some
people's turns now?
some might say that it is Hannah's turn. I am not one of those people, as it is Lady Vesh's turn.
Well, I'm going to stand up and to try a different tact, since the frost doesn't seem to be putting it down fast enough. And I'm going to cast Produce Flame, moving my hands as such, and making a small ball of flame appear in my hands, and then firing it right at this guy.
Yeah.
I make a spell attack roll, which is a 21.
That will do.
And so that's 3d4 plus my spellcasting modifier fire damage. 13 fire damage.
13 fire damage is more than the 2 HP it had left.
Yeah.
As this frozen, bubbling, acidic, now also somewhat flaming, black pudding oozes to the ground. A gasping half-orc child is sputtering for breath,
Yay.
near unconscious, but alive. The puddle that he is in continues to sear his flesh. You are still in combat rounds. Lady Vesh, you still have another action.
I don't believe I do. I think I had to stand up.
Oh, you're right. You're right. So, yeah, let's say those 2 guards go after Hannah. So, Hannah, it's your turn.
All right.
So see if they can.
Yeah. I'm gonna grab the little orc boy and I'm gonna get him out of this puddle.
You are not doing super well. Please make me a fortitude save as you rush in to save this child
You're right. I'm not doing well.
into this acidic puddle.
Yeah. All right. So that's a 23.
Okay. The shoes on the soles of your feet are burning away as you run up, pull this child out of that thick acidic ichor, and pull him back out. As you get
Acidic
out of
thicker.
acidic thicker,
2 C's.
you get him out. I'm assuming you wipe him down, or just try to get that acidicness off him. He is unconscious but alive. Your shoes are badly dissipated, disintegrated.
Sure. They're disintegrated. So they're
and-
not integrated anymore.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
They are integrated.
Anti-graded.
The guards pull up. They are making sure that everyone is okay. Panic is still heavily set in, but is starting to diminish. And you guys are now out of combat rounds. And with that, we will fade to black and find out how we recover from this particular travesty in episode 2. Okay, so don't stop recording yet. So I messed up something really bad.
Yeah.
Not in game or mechanic wise, but this is actually a pretty rough adventure. And when I started this, I wanted to add a new form of hero point, either called a fuck you GM point, an awesome point, or something along those lines that does one of the following things. You can turn a roll that I make and decrease it by 2 levels. So you can turn a success into a critical failure. You can turn a crit into just a regular failure. You can do the same thing for your own rolls. You can effectively just choose to crit on a success or choose to critically succeed on a regular success or whatever. You can upgrade it by 2 points. You can also do something that would normally be considered outside of the normal mechanics of the game by, say, a similar step. You could take an additional action on your turn. You could have a spell overcome some base resistance that you know a creature has, something along those lines. Something to be narratively very awesome. You can only ever have one of these at a time, and you only get them for completing very large story campaign parts.
Cool.
You all have one. I'll go over all of the other things that they can do in episode 2, but would have been super important for someone to give you the ability to do that maybe before this particular.
We all survived.
But you all survived.
Literally.
Yeah.
Wow.
And thankfully, I have a good number of heals available.
I mean,
Yeah.
only 2 of us are at 1 right now, so.
Right.
I'm at 6. Thank you very
See?
much.
Yeah.
I'm at
welcome.
34.
When
Down
I
half.
looked at this encounter initially, I was like, this doesn't seem so bad. And then I started looking at all the shit it had, and I was like, what the fuck? How is this like literally the intro combat for this?
Right.